Before the paper, I knew they would say, and I knew by the looks on their faces. Niggas mad cause I did what they wouldn't do, said what I couldn't do. Look, bitch, I made it, I made it. Came a long way from the basement. Body on me, I ain't playing, y'all. These niggas ain't playing fair. If I would've known better, I'd do better. Took some mess and I learned from a new level. Bought some new shovels and some new stressors, and I'm ready for war like whoever. They counted me out, I can't count it all. Cause little nigga, I ball. I put them points on the board every time that I shoot, I'ma score, and you know I'm a dog. I'm really appalled, don't need no applause. I know I'm a legend, my name on the wall. First record with platinum, my second with gold. Did it independent, no deal at all. And they said it's impossible. Got them high cause I did them without them though. I'm the same nigga, slept on the carpet floor. Even back then I knew that I be poppin', so I really ain't trippin'. I swear I ain't trippin'. I got in my feelings and got me a million. Couple people I thought would be with me, but they not, so it's fuck all them niggas. And then you next.
Yeah, man. I'm up late night owling, baby. We gotta talk about this, man, because I got questions. I got questions. I see I done ruffled a lot of Philly motherfuckers' feathers. I see I don't ruffle their feathers, and it is cool. Because again, they want to say I'm cap, but it's a lot of them, especially a lot of the media members who up there with those guys, who up there with that guy, and they continue to cap. But they continue to cap. Now, one thing for certain, two things for sure. Brian Norman Sr., he's definitely a guy who he's definitely a guy, a stand-up guy who ain't gonna lie. That's number one. Number two is if you did something to him, you best believe he's gonna do it back, right? And then at the same time, I know for a fact that some of those media members have everything that has went on between these two gentlemen that you see on the screen. I know for a fact that the media members who are close to Jerron Boots Ennis have the same information of what's been going on from down a timeline from the first time Eddie opened up his big ass mouth up until recently. I know some media members who have the same information. Every time something was going on, negotiation, Brian Norman told them what it was. But guess what they do? They still continue to push and create their own narrative. Push and create their own narrative, even though they knowing exactly what Brian Norman is telling them. Even though they know that. Text messages, receipts, whatever. They know that, but they still continue to push their own narrative. But they say, I'm cap. Now, I ruffle some feathers. I ruffle some feathers. People didn't like the fact that I just kept it real. I'm like, listen, these guys sparred more than just 1-2 times that the whole whomever was there, right? From my understanding and what I know and what I see is that they only talk about the first 2 times that the young Brian Norman Jr. and Boots Ennis sparred. They sparred more than those times. But it's only been a trainer who was there, who had some fighters that kept it real. And it's been a fighter who I interviewed, which is Cornflake, who told the truth. So my thing is this. If those 2 guys, one being, Coach Breadman Edwards and Cornflake Thomas Lamanna, if they both kept it real, why aren't the people who are around Boots or in the gym keeping it real. That's the only thing I'm asking and saying. Yeah, I did say, if the fight had got signed, I would have dropped the footage and all that other old crazy old shit. But I'm not gonna drop no footage of, of them niggas sparring, bro. Like that's against the rule, that's against the law. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, but people act like there isn't footage. Shit. And God knows I love Quadir. I love Quadir. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Quadir. I actually watched his last couple fights. I actually think that Quadir is going to be a world champion. I know people are gonna look at this video and be like, "Oh, he said no, 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 no." I think that Quadir, I think that Quadir is definitely gonna be a world champion. I've seen Quadir spar down here in Atlanta, held his own, did a very great job. Uh, Shit, I think I seen him spar a couple. No, I seen him spar a couple rounds down here, held his own and did his thing for sure. You know what I mean? He went out and put out a highlight about what happened, and then you see what happened. Brian Norman Sr. put out the full thing. You know what I mean? But people acting as if I'm saying something wrong. Nah, I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking. I'm just telling people just to keep it honest, keep it real. I spoke to Brian Norman Jr. about it. I've been knowing what happened, but there is parts that people not telling. Is either they was only there for if they was only there for those first two sparring sessions, they should have just talked about and said that I only know about the first two. I don't know what happened in the others. Instead of saying, "Oh, this what happened," or he got the best of them every single time they sparred. And that's definitely not true. It's definitely not true, right? Um, but I'm addressing that because motherfuckers going crazy and all in their feelings and all butt hurt for what reason? But again, I'm gonna say what I say because I know for multiple people who are aware of the situation that has kept it real. Cornflake was on my channel and kept it real. For instance, one person who I know knows all the details and knows everything that has going on and everything that's happened is YSM. Now, I personally met YSM in Brooklyn, New York. Uh, I think it was either his lady or his lady friend, and it was Greg Hackett. That's when I first met YSM and Greg Hackett. When I'm honestly, you can ask Greg Hackett himself. Greg Hackett was sitting at the table with me. We eating pizza, and I'm looking. I'm like, bro, you which color? And then he was like, nah, I ain't him. I'm like, bro, you brother be talking boxing. That's when I knew. I was like, oh shit, that's okay. I put two and two together. Like, okay, that's why I see him, and that's Greg Hackett. Cool. We, no problem. Still to this day, got no problem with Greg Hackett. Now, Greg Hackett, of course, that's Boots. That they boys. You know what I mean? I get it. He gonna ride with his guy. But one thing I can say about Greg Hackett, he told the truth yesterday. He said, I ain't gonna lie, it did look funny with Boots coming out doing that shit, that he did on Brian Norman pretty much the day before Brian Norman fight day. That shit did look corny. That shit did look lame. It did look like he was running. That's what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looked like. And that's one of the first times that I heard Greg Hackett keep it real, keep it 1,000%. Now, but what I do know is this. I also know that Brian Norman has sent YSM everything on a timeline. So he has this information that he's privy to, but of course, that's Boots. He Boots his guy. So he gonna push and create his own narrative. But how is it that I know a trainer that was there? I know a boxer that was there. I'm sorry, I know two boxers that was there and sparred Brian Norman. Uh both sparred Brian Norman. Now I see it was a video of Janelson Bochica saying that Brian Norman can't crack. But damn, Cornflake was live on my show and kept it 1,000. He said, "Listen, even although he did say he think that Boots win, he also said I don't think it's gonna go the way people think it's gonna go with all the whole sparring talk and things of that nature." Right? He said he believes that Brian Norman can hold his own, but he also thinks that Boots wins the fight, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But then he goes and say, one thing I know for sure, Brian Norman can fucking punch. He said, I mean, he can fucking punch. All you got to do is pull up the clip. Hell, you guys want me to pull it up for you? Because I got it. I got it. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand why certain people ain't keeping it real when they have privy to the same information. That's the crazy part. And what I mean by the same information is this: knowing exactly what happened. But let me pull up. Let me see. Let me share my screen so you guys can see it for yourself.
Very, very close. And so Mustafa was out here. I'm not really like, I'm not in that gym or in that camp or whatever. So like, I'm not there all the time. Like not when they're like out in Colorado or whatever, but like when they're here.
Right.
You know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He has his following. I watch his videos. I follow him. I see. He's real old school, real technical and shit.
Get familiar with you, but let them hear, because, bro, trust me, there's a small amount of people here now, but trust me, by the end of the night, shit's gonna go crazy. Like, all my shit be like that, because I don't really come on like I used to, bro. I used to come in, you know what I mean? I used to be not the type of person to go back and forth with nobody, so I'd rather just. And then I have
so the issue, So the issue of boxing is, it's very opinionated. Too bad, because of alleged Jamal's, like issues and bro. And I don't know, dude's going. I just don't know. Well, that's cool. Well, but we still gotta fight. But we still gotta fight. So he's still very young. So okay. So here's this. So he's still very young. So okay. So make it real quick. We can make it real sweet. We could, you know what I'm saying? Nah.
Now, but we gonna do this though. He was very young then. Go ahead.
I'm not so right. You know what I'm saying? And like we're getting it going now. You know what I'm saying? So we could definitely connect on that. But what I'm not gonna let you do is get off this without me spitting facts about your boy Brian Norman and Boots. That's what we're not gonna do.
Okay, let's talk, man.
So that's what we're not gonna do. We can make it real quick. We can make it real sweet. We could, you know what I'm saying? Nah.
Now, but we gonna do this though. He was very young then. Go ahead.
I'm not so right. I leave that whole sparring shit. That's in the gym, and and I wasn't there right when they sparred, so I can't. Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
somewhat. You say so he's still very young. So okay, so here's this. So Brian Norman Sr., who they mad cool, like so. And I'm saying they came down to Philly when I was training with Bozy. I was training with them, and they came down. They was there, I don't know, for a week or two, getting some work in. He sparred C4. That's what C4 is the one that put all like the highlight and shit. I was there for that.
Right.
I'm not, again, I don't really be speaking on sparring and shit. I was there for that though, and it was all love with senior and junior. So I am only giving my assessment or my opinion because I sparred Brian.
Yeah. I do know about that. Yeah, I heard. Well, I don't know about it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
So I got in there and sparred, and it was very, very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
He's a world fucking champion, bro. It was very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like. He's not as skilled as me, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, that motherfucker could punch. He could punch.
I know.
Hey. He could punch. Like he's fucking stupid strong.
Bro,
but,
I know.
Okay.
Now, how easy was that? Not how easy was that? You know what I'm saying? How easy was that? All I did was just the man told me he can punch. Not only can he punch, he can punch. Y'all heard it for yourself. So you got one person again creating, pushing their own narrative, right? Boa Chica is a 47 pounder. Cornflake 54, 60, 68 pounder. You see what I'm saying? Again, Brian Norman Sr. has given this person everything on the timeline based off what's been going on behind the scenes. But I'm the person that's big cap. Now, you knowing all this information, you seeing it with your own eyes. You seen what Brian Norman has been doing to these guys. You see what he's done his last 3 fights, and you put out something like that. But when you got another world-class fighter who was just in the ring with Jamal Charlo tell you that this guy can punch, who creating narratives, who creating bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And again, like I said before, I don't have a problem with bro, like at all. But again, I've been seeing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing it with my own eyes. Like, bro, what you doing? Like, I know for a fact that you getting all the information. Same thing with Mill City. I know Mill City getting everything fresh off the press as well. Right. So I just got questions because they'll call me cap, but you got all these other people pushing different shit too, though. You see what I'm saying? They pushing other stuff too. So my thing is like, hold on. Y'all getting the same information. Y'all in Philly because the sparring took place in Philly. But y'all can only talk about the first 2 sparring sessions. What happened? What happened in the others? I've heard from Senior what happened in the others. I've heard what happened from Norman and others. You know what I'm saying? And coaches and trainers. I see what happened with, you know what I'm saying, with Quadir, who's a phenomenal fucking fighter. I see what happened, all this shit. So when is somebody gonna talk about the other situations, the other sessions? That's my only thing. Like, you know what I mean? So you call cap, but shit, what you doing? Because looking at what I'm looking at, you ain't keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Ain't keeping it 1,000. So number one, man, looking back at everything, I remember when it first happened, when everything first took off. First off and foremost, this is what people don't know. A fight between Brian Norman Jr. and Jerron Boots Ennis, when everything first kicked off, like what was it, like last year around when he became champion after he beat Centennial. So we're gonna say that was like May. So all the talk started around like June, July of last year. Because I know Junior just had got the hand surgery. Because me and Junior sparred a week before he got the hand surgery. And I think that was like June. I think that was like June or July. It was somewhere along in there, right? When he got the hand surgery. And then I think a couple weeks later or a month later, so we're going to say between July and August of last year is when all the talks came out about Jerron Boots and his fighting Brian Norman Jr. because he was elevated after he beat Centennial. And I think Bud moved up, so Bud had the belt, right? That's when all this started. Well, what people don't know is to begin with, the fight was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. People, why you say the fight wasn't going to never happen, Tay? First of all, to even begin negotiations or start negotiations, Eddie Hearn had to pay that $20,000 fee to the IBF. He had to pay a fee to even negotiate, or even if they did negotiate, right? Even if they did negotiate and sign a contract, they still had to pay the step aside fee first, or else Jerron Boots Ennis would have been stripped. But you got these guys who's privy to that information, but calling me cap. You got these guys who privy to this information and know that, but would tell you Brian Norman duck. I understand that. Oh, somebody help me understand. This is the same information that they are privy to. This is the same information that they know. But again, I'm the cap, but they pushing their own narrative. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep pushing P. I'm gonna keep being player about it. Because at the end of the day, it was never gonna happen. It was never gonna happen. Face it. So how can anybody say this man ducked when it was never gonna happen? And that's why I kept saying, uh, 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 that's why I kept saying what I was saying. It was never gonna happen. And then of course I was also saying, motherfuckers talk about this 1.7, this 750,000. It was the biggest of his payday. None of that shit even matters because the main point is it was never gonna happen because Eddie Hearn did not even pay the step aside to even get the go ahead to even have negotiations with Brian Norman Jr. and his team. So it was never gonna happen. And then on top of that, even if they did come to a contract agreement, it still wasn't gonna happen because Jerron Boots Ennis would have gotten stripped. That's what I'm trying to tell people. He would have gotten stripped. So this whole, he ducked it, payday, this, and the third. Listen, the same shit that I just told y'all is the same shit that they know. Name one time, and I've been said this. Name one time that they even mentioned that. Y'all watch them guys. And if I've watched, I've always watched after the fact or a couple days later after it dropped. Every single time I've watched one of those interviews, whether it was coming from Mill City or whether it was coming from YSM or whether it was coming from Greg Hackett, the only thing I kept saying in my mind was, damn, they're not keeping it real on what's really going on. Now, I can't say they didn't know that because I know seniors sent them that information. It was never gonna happen. My cord keep coming out. Sorry about that. So it was never gonna happen. Let me play this real quick because I wanna make sure that I'm hitting all the points. I wanna make sure that I'm hitting all the points. Again, like I said before, everything started back like last July, August sometime. Then, of course, they started talking about the numbers, saying that Jerron Boots Ennis offered Brian. Well, Eddie said something like, "We offered him 750,000." He also said something about offering Barrios, and he offered Stanionis. What people don't know is Mario Barrios had already. First of all, Mario Barrios was already out the picture. He ended up offering. He said that Eddie Hearn said something like he offered Barrios and Stanionis $2 million, and they didn't take it. That's not true at all. I think Barrios was offered like 1.5. But the thing about Barrios, he had already signed a contract with Pacquiao. That fight was done, and that fight was signed like September, October of last year. So that was already off the table. That fight was already off the table. Eddie knew that. I mean, these guys know when these guys got something going on. Trust me. They know when they got something going on. And I know for a fact from talking to someone at PBC had already told me the Pacquiao and Barrios fight was going to be happening. This was like September, October of last year. Because I was even saying, well, shit, Since Bro got the belt now, since Bro got the belt, not try to unify with Barrios or try to unify with such and such. That's what I was saying. But of course, the whole Boots things was going on. So Barrios, he was already locked in. What people don't know is when Stanionis was offered 1.7, when Stanionis was offered 1.7, Stanionis initially turned that down. But you don't hear nobody saying, "Oh, they turned down to fight Boots. Oh, they turned down to fight Boots. Oh, he ducking." Yeah, I ain't hear that from nobody. Cause get what? Did nobody know that? But there's some people who did. That I know for a fact didn't say anything. You see what I'm saying? And then we go from that until you hear and see Senior talking about the numbers online or whatever like that. The thing about it is, I don't get into the whole numbers things, but because I'm privy to the information and know what's going on, just like the other guys who doing these videos and these, creating, pushing their own narratives, I know the same shit they know. I think it went from like 1.5 or 1.3, 1.5 to 1.7 or something like that. And the thing about it is, they never said no. That's the part that I'm tripping about. Like, I be stuck. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. These folks never said no. They sent another counter offer, yeah, but they never said no. But all of a sudden, the counter offering stopped. But where was people when? Where were people? What? Why wasn't people loud when Brian Norman Sr. said, "We'll take the 1.7 if they move the fight"? Because Eddie let it slip out his mouth. Eddie let it slip out his mouth. He said Stanionis getting more than Boots. People ain't say nothing about that. But the whole key thing to that is the key ingredient to that is Eddie moved the fight. Not only did he move the fight, he also paid Stanionis more. But people act like they don't see or hear these things. But you'll call this man a duck. But first of all, most importantly, we know that this fight wasn't going to happen to begin with. So I just got questions. Brian Norman Jr. fought Centennial. And at this point, he was recovering and still was willing to fight. Eddie would tell you that they themselves was done with the fight. They turned it down, knowing that they never said no to the fight. Then I think it was a video footage. I was trying to find it, but I can't find that footage. It was a video of Boots and Bozy saying they was getting ready for Karen. They didn't know anything else. They didn't even know any talks that was going on with Brian Norman. But here's what I got to say to that. That's cap, because Brian Norman Sr. and Bozy, when Brian Norman got his belt, Bozy and Brian Norman congratulated each other. I think Bozy called Senior or Senior called Bozy, however it went, right? Congratulated them. And they was just like, look, people gonna try to put us against us. And I think Bozy said something between the lines, like, we could try to make that for undisputed. Y'all keep doing y'all thing on y'all side. We're gonna keep doing our thing. And Norman was like, we're gonna keep doing our thing on our side. Now I know for a fact that happened because I remember when Senior told me that. You know what I mean? So that happened. You know what I mean? Oh, I know. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I know. QT said, why do they need all this he said, she said to promote Boots? They're doing this for years with him. Hey. Don't shoot the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Don't shoot the messenger. So I remember Senior saying that. So I ain't got no reason to lie, like I said before. Did Norman, did he fight after that? Did Norman fight after that? I don't believe he fought after that. I believe he fought in this past March. So from July, August, July, somewhere along in there to March. Did Boots fight any of that time during that time? You know? Did Boots fight? Because I don't think Norman fought. I know I was at Norman fight. Now, May 16th was the next time that Eddie Hearn contacted Brian Norman's team. And they agreed to make a fight after the Jen Sasaki fight. Eddie Hearn even went public and said that we wanted to make a deal for after the fight. But that is not what was said. Eddie Hearn wanted to lock in a contract before the fight. They specifically told him that. After that, you didn't hear anything. But what I do know is this. Well, I missed something. Boots had a fight. Boots fought Stanionis. Boots in the press conference, here's where things get sticky. In the press conference, Boots said he took a pay cut. Then he also said, well, we also what did he say? We also offered him $2 million. Now, if you're gonna take $2 million, or you're gonna take, this over here, or whatever he said between lines over there, and you hear the reporters, laughing, and people were like, yeah, we'll take the $2 million. It was no $2 million ever talked about. Stop the cap, but I'm capping though. That's what he said. He said that. Then he said, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. Brian Norman trash. All right, cool. So May 16th, they agreed after that. You didn't hear Jerron Boots Ennis fought in April. Brian Norman fought in March. You didn't hear anything after that. It wasn't no talks about no fight, this, and third. And just recently on Champ's side, I hear motherfuckers saying that they offered Brian Norman $2 million to sign the contract before he go to Japan. No, it was never no number. So you got all these people making up things, but it would be so much clearer if everybody kept it 100. And whether that's your boy or not, keep it 100. That's all I ever did. I'm gonna keep going. Because I wrote all my stuff down. I wrote it all down. Agree after the fight. So, and then Jerron Boots, and I want to say during that fight week, he had this to say about the weight. During that fight week. What did I put it at? I'm finna load it up right now. He had this to say. So I know I ain't tripping because he had these things. I'm going in chronological order. All these events happen. But people pick and choose what they want to talk about. So I got questions. Because if you call me cap, that means y'all cap, he lying, or is it pussy? He said this.
I seen some people talking about look weight drain. I was, you gonna make weight, this, that, and the third. I was at weight on Tuesday. I didn't work out since Tuesday. I ate the day before the weigh-in. I make 147 easy. Y'all don't know what y'all be talking about. Y'all just be talking on the net.
And what about your power at this weight that they were complaining about because you're weight?
You seen it. I really was like just getting in my bag, getting in my groove for real. Like I said before, none of these fighters can mess with me. I'm the best in the world.
What did he just say? He felt good. He wasn't weight drained. He also said in the ring, one of those, forget which fight it was in the ring, was talking about going up to fight Virgil at 154. Come to find out, they said he turned it down. He wanted to stay at 147 to come undisputed. Then he says what he just said. I felt good. It wasn't weight drain. I don't know what they talking about. Then you turn the fight down with Virgil. You say you want to become undisputed. But in between that time, after your fight, it was no calls made, no contracts, no nothing until May 16th is when Eddie put that out, talking about he wanted to negotiate a contract for after the fight. That's not what happened. He said specifically that it needed to be signed before they go to Japan. That's what he said. And you just heard what Boots just said, right? All right, I'm gonna just keep going. T.O. QT. Now you just said something. Facts. Now he's saying the doctor said he performing at 40%. Cool. Look again. I have no problem with that. But my problem becomes this. It becomes, well, at what point did you know? Because you turned out the T.O. fight for whatever reason. I don't know what he said, why he turned it down or nothing. I don't know. Right? For whatever reason, he turned down the T.O. fight. Then he announces he going. Well, Eddie said it first at the beginning of the week. I think he said on like a Saturday or Sunday at the fights, whatever, that he was going up. Then he drops the video stating that he's going to 54. But here's the crazy part of it all, right? Here's the crazy part about it all. Got a phone call from a coach. His fighter is at 147 pounds. Called Bozy. And this was at the end of April. Called Bozy because he wanted to know what he think that him and his fighter should do, because it was talks about Boots moving up to 154. He personally told me, and I can go to my text messages. When he told me that, I can go to my text because I text Brian Norman Sr. He said that, bro, don't tell nobody. Boots said he moving up to 150. Well, Bozy said that they moving up to 154. So those belts gonna be vacant. So we might go this way. Y'all over there got a belt. Barrios holding up the belt. These two belts for to be loose. So we finna try to see if we can go this route. That's specifically what the coach told me. So, and this was at the end of April. Bruh, when that happened, it was June 18th when you dropped the video going up. Again, why drop that video if you and your dad been knowing y'all was going to 154? Why drop the video the day before his fight? Or why not even drop it after? So it does look funny. It does look goofy. So my question is he lying or is he pussy? Or is it people who privy to this information and just been keeping it real with y'all? The same shit that I'm saying, Mill City and YSM got the same shit. They know this. They didn't offer anybody else at 147. Now that Brian Norman has successfully defeated Jen Psaki, he moves up the day before. He also put on his Instagram, he not waiting for nobody or something like that he said. Cool, no problem with that. Because he said he don't want to wait, he want to fight. Cool. You just went up to 54, so you mean to tell me you finna instantly fight at 154? So we should be hearing a fight date within the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, right? We should be hearing something. You say that's what he said. We should be hearing something, right? You ain't want to wait. And I totally understand that, bro. Personally, I've always said Boots should be at 54. But my question to some of these Philly fans and these Boots fans, where were you guys when I was pretty much the only one on YouTube saying if there was one person who can disrupt Undisputed when it was Bud and Arrow clash for clash, if it was one person who can disrupt Undisputed was Jerome Boots Ennis. Where were y'all when I was the first saying that? Where were y'all when I was like, damn, I like Jerome Boots Ennis? Where were y'all at then? They can't tell you because they only come around when it pertains to Brian Norman Jr. They can't tell you, bro. I've been talking about Boots, bro. Go look back 2-3 years ago in the files. It's there for you to go see. I ain't never said nothing bad about Boots. I ain't never badmouth Boots, but now I'm questioning what's going on because it looked like he ran. It looked like no, I ain't gonna say it looked like it seems like he been lying. Or is it he pussy? You know what I'm saying? So how can people fault me for saying what I said when people around him have the same information that I got? Hello? I'm just saying, man. Now, the whole thing is they trying to discredit Brian Norman win. Now, listen, man. I've been seeing what Mill City been doing, bro. I've been seeing what he been doing. You know, trying to make fights. You know, Rashidi Ellis's boy, cool. I think Rashidi Ellis is a good homecoming fight for Brian Norman Jr. I think he get him out of there in less than 7 to 8 rounds max. QT said they think Boots must got some kind of flaw to hide him behind all these narratives. Man, listen, I don't know, and it was crazy because I like Boots, bro. I think Boots is a phenomenal fight, bro. And nobody over here ever heard me hate on Boots, but the guys who talk about Boots who don't like Brian Norman, all you ever heard them do was hate on Brian Norman. You never heard them talk good about Brian Norman. You never heard them talk good about Brian Norman, but all they done was hate. But you can't say the same about me. I'm different. I don't gotta hate. But I'm gonna give you 100% shit on what I think. Jen Sasaki, now they trying to, paint the picture. Oh, Jen Sasaki wasn't this, he wasn't that. Listen, man. Hey, man. I ain't trying to hear all that because number one, if you watched Jen Sasaki before Brian Norman even fought him, you have already had your assessment. And my assessment was, and you can ask Senior, it wasn't going past 5. When it was first signed, I was in the gym with Brian Norman and his dad, sitting on the stairs. It was like 5 in the afternoon. I think it was about 4 in the afternoon, sitting on the stairs, just talking, chilling. And we was talking about the fight. Cool. And I think later on that day, I was looking at, some fights on Jen Sasaki, and I texted his dad about something, and he texted me like, bro, check this out. You see what I see? Woo, 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 woo. I'm checking out like, yeah, I see what you see. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, good eye. That's what I said. And I made my assessment then that shit wasn't going past no more than 5. I made my assessment then. But then you got people who were saying, just like I said the other day on the live, you got some people who watched and understood that this fight wasn't going that far. Then you got some people who want to make their own narrative or whatever. And then you had some people say, oh, this is a dangerous fight for Brian Norman. He might get knocked out. He might get, yeah, go ahead. He might get knocked out. Oh, I think Jason Sasaki gonna knock him out. Bro, you see how many knockouts he got? This ratio he got. Then he goes in there and pretty much knocked this man lifeless. Now it's, or Jen Sasaki couldn't move his head. He couldn't move his feet. He was wild. He was this. He was that. Man, listen. What they're not going to tell you is this. Jen Sasaki was number 2 in the WBO. He was number 6 in the Ring magazine. And he was number 3 on BoxRec. All these guys, this Jen Sasaki was ranked higher than Brian Norman. But if you watch the film, how the fuck do you get that? How do you get that? Then Centennial was higher than Brian Norman as well. Derek Cuevas was in the WBO rankings, but I think he was like number 6. I think he was like number 6. So these last 3 fights, all these guys has been the top, either the top 5 or top 6 for sure. So you can't say, oh, he wasn't this, it wasn't that. All these organizations have these guys ranked higher than Brian Norman, other than the WBO, because he is the champion. So you can't discredit that. You got to give credit where it's due. Centennial, I think Centennial was ranked like number 1 or number 2. Cuevas either 5 or 6. Sasaki was number 4. Sasaki was number 2 in the WBO. He was number 3 on BoxRec. Now, if you look at the rankings, they got Rohan Polanco in front of Brian Norman on BoxRec. So they got all these numbers. Guess what? I don't think Rohan Polanco want the smoke either. You just heard Norman talking about him. Bring it. We can have that at home. That could be a homecoming fight too. Rasheed Ellis. The point I'm trying to make is, man, y'all putting all these narratives in there, but this man ain't been doing nothing but fighting. And what you don't know is what you guys don't know is this: when Brian Norman first signed with Top Rank, they would roll out the names for him. And I can bet you, I promise you, and he'll tell you, I tried to fight the best opponent that they had every single time. Ain't no capping that. Ain't no capping that. That's the truth. So I'll be wanting to ask this question to y'all, the Boots fans. Why y'all don't be pressing Boots? Like right now, why y'all not pressing Boots? Why y'all not pressing Eddie Hearn? Why y'all not pressing these other media members for these hard questions for Boots? Because it seems like y'all got all the energy for the Normans, but when it comes to Boots, y'all don't have that energy. I'm just trying to figure it out, because from what I see, and there's some people who agree, and it's going to be, listen, it's going to be some people to agree. It's going to be a lot of people who don't agree, and that's totally fine. I'm cool with that. But you can't sit here and tell me that shit didn't look funny the other day, that what they did. Why would you say you're going to 154 the day before the fight? Brother, it was May 16th. It was, brother, listen. Boots, Bozy, Mill City, YSM. It was May 16th, and y'all know this information. It was May 16th when Eddie said that. If you knew you was going to 54, and like I said before, Bozy at the end of May, told a specific coach that they was going to 154 from May 16th up until June 19th. Why didn't y'all been announced that y'all was going 54? Why ain't nobody pressing Boots and asking him that question? Why do it the night before? But y'all been knew y'all was going 54. Why wait? Why wait? Ain't nobody asking those questions. But man, Tay Jones capping. He affiliated with the LDBC. All they do is lie. Oh, big cap. Since Wilder ain't popping, he trying to get with Brian Norman. Bro, come on, man. Stop all that shit. Look, man, at the same, bro, I've been knowing Brian since that kid was 14, 15 years old. Bro, it's 2025. That's shit, 10, 11 years. What are you talking about? Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Y'all know this ain't information. Y'all stop the capping, man. Is Jerron Boots lying? Is he lying? That's the question I have. Is he lying? Because again, like I just said, May 16th was the date that Eddie said that. I know for a fact the coach told me at the end of May. And we also know for a fact June 18th is when he dropped that video saying that he's going up to 154. Bruh, you waited a whole month to go up to 54? Tell you remember when he came on Fred's show, none of them dudes were nowhere to be found. Who you talking about? Who came on Fred's show? So you mean to tell me from May 16th to June 18th, bruh, May 16th to June 16th is a month. So you waited a whole month? Come on, bro. But ain't nobody asking him these questions. Oh, but what made you, why you think you go to fit? You know, the doctors told me, you know what I'm saying, I was only 40% of myself. I look, and what's crazy about that is, what's crazy about that, Boots, what's crazy about that YSM, Mill City, Bozy, what's crazy about that is, I agree. In the same interview I did with Cornflake, Thomas Lamana, I asked Thomas, I said, bro, do you think that his weight, you know, he's losing too much weight? Do you think since he didn't have to rehydrate, since he got a chance to rehydrate, that's why he looked the way he looked in that fight? Thomas Lamana said, absolutely. I can pull it up. I don't know at the minute mark because I didn't write the minute mark down on my notes. I didn't write the minute mark down on my notes over here to go back and play it for you guys. But it's on the Thomas Lamana interview. He said that. He said, I got it. He said, that's it. You right. You hit it right on the head. That's exactly what he said. And he went in and talking about how Boots looks so much better with weight on him. And he think that Boots has been cutting too much weight. And guess what? I did that interview. Let me see. I did that interview with, let me see what date that was. May 20th. I did that interview May 20th. I did that interview May 20th with Thomas Lamana. And still don't got a fight locked in at 54. So you mean to tell me you waited a whole month and you've been on this? And what was the point of Eddie trying to lock in a fight with Norman before he went to Japan, knowing he was gonna go up to 154? Why ain't nobody pressing them or asking them those questions? Oh, I get it. Hey, mate, we'll just wait till Norman having this time and we'll just do it on his day. That'd be a great fucking idea. Bro, you see how God worked? That man went out there and knocked that man ass senseless. And what they tried to do didn't work. That knockout put all the fire out. Now, let me get back to people discrediting Brian Norman's opponent. I got questions. Like I said, I got questions. These questions need to be answered. Did Boots have or had a KO ever like Norman's knockouts? Has Boots ever had a knockout like Norman? Does Boots have a knockout like Norman? Any knockout like Norman? Okay. I just want to make sure I'm clear. I just want to because I got questions. Santinian was a 147 pounder naturally. And I'm gonna put it like this: Brian Norman last 6 fights, all those guys was naturally 147 pounders. Natural 147 pounders. Hold on. Is they up? I heard she got out of bed. So again, like I said before, I'm sorry, my daughter just woke up. So with that being said, right? All that was natural 147 pounders. Romain Villiers came up from 140. I think his first fight at 147 was against Rashidi Ellis. He didn't fight Boots until his second fight at 140, 140 pounder. Sergey Lipiex came up from 140. Custio Clayton, he came up from 140. Who was Thomas Delorme came up from 140. All these guys were smaller coming up. All these guys were smaller coming up. So when I get on here and I hear these guys talking about the resumes and trying to discredit the fight, bruh. As much as could have been said, all these guys that Boots was fighting was coming up from 140. I could have said that. Lipiex, yeah, that I did. I said Lipiex. I could have been said or called that shit out. Guess what Tay did? Just talked about the fight. I didn't even care that the guy came up from 140. I never said anything, but I do know the last 6 opponents that Brian Norman fought, all those guys was 147 pounders. In fact, the very first fight since he got with Top Rank, all those guys been 47 pounders. And before he got with Top Rank, he was actually fighting guys bigger than him as well. So when we try to discredit a person's win, you can't do that because, especially, I've been seeing a lot of Boots fans doing that. And it's cool. Like, I don't have no problem with no Boots fan. I don't got no problem with nobody feeling none of that shit, right? I don't have no problem with nobody. But you try to discredit a win when this guy has had multiple guys come up from 140 to fight. You got a guy like Karen, and nobody, nobody want to keep it a buck on the Karen fights. Nobody want to keep it a buck on the Karen fights. He didn't look good. But guess who did keep it real? A couple fighters, a couple trainers I know. Even Cornflakes said, I'm gonna lie, he didn't look good either in the second fight nor the first fight. But the people close to him that's doing all this media and shit, they didn't ask none of that shit. They didn't give a fuck about that. That's something I would have been at, like, bro, what's good with you? What's going on? They didn't do that. But they'll say he ain't discredit what Brian Norman's doing or has done. Now, we don't make the rankings. We don't make the rankings. The fans don't make the rankings. The guys in Philly or whoever. Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. Not once, but twice. Not once, not one time, but 2 times. You know what I'm saying? So when we try to discredit people, come on, don't do that, man. Come. What I do know is this: Norman Senior Jr. has always been respectful. Even in the interviews, people talking shit to him, them, or in the chat talking crazy. And I understand it's the internet. People got a free base, free word to say whatever they want to say or whatever the case may be. But if that make you feel more of a man or a woman, then that's just you. But if I can't speak my truth, you don't gotta validate my truth. Because I'm gonna speak my truth. I don't need nobody to validate it. But what you can't do is tell me, oh, you hating on Boots. No, I'm not hating on Boots at all. Again, where was these Philly fans, these same media members, where were they at before Boots started making the noise he was making? Where was they then? Because I promise you, they weren't doing more videos than me about Boots, and they was in his own city. You know? So when we talk about these guys, man, just keep it 1,000. Norman last three fights, 3-0 with 3 knockouts. 3-0 with 3 knockouts. All those guys are 47 pounders. Now, just Jen Sasaki did come up from 140, but it wasn't initially jump. I think he had a couple fights. He missed weight in Japan or something shit like that. He missed weight, and he said it was time to come up to 147. And he was ranked higher than Brian Norman, in the ring and on the ring and box rec. And Brian Norman was just the champion. That's the only reason why Jen Sasaki wasn't ranked higher than Brian Norman in the WBO rankings, because Brian Norman is the champion. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like I'm saying anything wrong or like I'm capping. Like I said before. Now look, I did say what I said on Champ Shot Show or whatever like that, but whatever happens in the gym stays in the gym. I could talk shit. They've been talking shit the whole time. Right? They've been talking shit the whole time. But it's not like I haven't been saying this. I've always said they ain't been telling the truth about all the sparring sessions. I've always said, man, when somebody gonna step up and say what really happened at the sparring session, when are y'all gonna give Brian Norman his just due? Now, I ain't saying he a fucking world beater at that time that they was sparring or nothing of the nature. But what you're not finna do is sit here and tell me it went the same way every time they sparred. Nah, I know for a fact that it didn't. That shit be capped. Only because you want to make your guy look good. No, listen, people got to understand. Gervonta Tank Davis and Brian Norman, when they sparred, I was the person who brought Tank Davis to Brian Norman when he was only 16 years old. What did Tank just do the other day? Tank posted on his Instagram, Atlanta got a 5 champion. They don't even know it. Despite Brian Norman and Tank getting into it, despite Brian Norman Sr. and Tank getting into it, and the two teams getting into it, guess what? He still was 100 about what he said. He still posted what he posted. He still stamped that. I personally think, and my truth is this, I personally think if Boots had have said something during this whole time, it wouldn't even be a smear. It wouldn't even be a smear campaign. Fuck whatever happened to sparring. These two motherfuckers still gotta fight. Ain't that's what y'all say? Man, that's just sparring. So why give a fuck about it now? Because I had said, oh shit, you know what I said. So fucking what? Y'all been talking shit and ain't keeping it P the whole time. Again, there's no way possible that 500 people seeing this one sparring session and only can seeing them spar, but only forever talking about the first 2 times they ever sparred. What about the 3rd time? What about the 4th time? What about the 5th time? What about the 6th time? What about this? Because I think they sparred about 7 different times. And you ain't fair to tell me he got the best of me every single fucking time. I know for a fact that he did it. And I stand on that. Now, trainer, Coach Breadman Edwards, he told me about 2 months ago, the day that he was there. And even he said, now tell you, I ain't gonna lie, like they sparred multiple times, I heard, but the day I was there, I can only tell you about the day I was there. That's called keeping it P. Cornflake said the same shit. I can only tell you about the day I was there. When I was there when he sparred Quadir. I even sparred him myself. And I think it was another time. I know he told me that one off air though. But ain't nobody keeping it P though. Come on, man. But they'll tell you, oh, Tay capping, Tay Jones this and this, or he affiliated with the LDBC, so all they do is lie, and this, and da boo, da boo, boo. Man, I'm just telling you the truth. Y'all ain't heard me hate on Boots one time. My only question is this: is he lying, or is it just puss? It can't be that you knew for a whole month that you was going to 154. May 16th, let me look at my notes. May 16th, because I had to write everything down because my phone over there. May 16th was when Eddie said something about the damn fight getting made or something like that, right? But I know at the end of May for a fact that this coach told me that your dad said that y'all was going to 154. That was at the end of May. My nigga, it's May 21st. You said it's May 21st. Brian Norman fought. It's the morning of 21st. My bad. It's the morning, Saturday morning. Oh, Friday, Saturday morning. It's Saturday morning. Brian Norman fought on Thursday, which was Juneteenth, June 19th. June 18th, you dropped and said that you was going to 54. From May 16th to June 16th is a month. You knew you was going to 154. And everybody up there creating content, them niggas knew you was going to 154 too. So yes, it does look funny. Yes, Brian Norman had every right to say what he said. When the storm come, they pick up their boots and run. Because that's what it looked like. Now, I just sat here and broke all this down. Because that's what it looked like. But more than anything, out of all the videos I ever said about this shit, I always blame one person. I didn't blame Jerron Boots Ennis. I didn't blame Brian Norman Jr., Brian Norman Sr. I blamed Eddie Hearn. But now I'm asking, is you lying or is it pussy? Because at the same time, that's what it looked like, brother. Your man Greg Hackett just said that's what it looked like too. It looked funny. Come on, man. Don't play with me, play with your bitch. Come on, man. This shit look crazy. But people will say, oh, he turned down 1.7. It wasn't going to happen. For the people who just coming in, it wasn't going to happen. Why was it not going to happen in the first place, Tay? Because Eddie Hearn never paid the sanctioning fee to even negotiate a fight with somebody else. Even if they negotiate, even if they had to kept those terms because it was done publicly. Because it was definitely talked about publicly. Even if Jerron Boots Ennis had agreed to that contract and the terms and signed it, he would have been stripped of the IBF title. So y'all really sat there from August to get to the end when you offer the 1.7 and Norman Sr. say was shit. We can take the 1.7 if y'all move the fight. Sent back another counter offer. They never said no. Let's be clear. They never said no, but you got people out there who would tell you they said no, but they only listening to the people that's up in Philly. They only listening to Jerron Boots and his team because that's Boots. I get it. I get it. He's a name. He's well known. He has a bigger name than Junior. I get it. I ain't no hater. I get it. But at some point, you have to have some integrity and tell the truth. That's it. This fight was never gonna happen, man. But since the talks did come back up, you turn down the fight with Virgil. You say you wanted to stay at 147 and become undisputed. There was no offer sent to Brian Norman after he fought, after Boots fought. It didn't. Nothing came about until after that, to May 16th. And they never turned that down. They agreed to say, yeah, we could talk about it after the fight. Eddie was the one who said, well, we need to lock this in before you guys fight in Japan. But he told y'all on the interview, he said, let's do it after the fight. That's not what he said. And the same information that I just gave out over the past hour is the same information that those other guys from Philly got. And like I said before, people will say, oh, ain't no footage of this. Well, when Quadir dropped his highlights, Brian Norman Sr. came back and put the real thing out. But like Norman told me, he like, man, he like, bro, we ain't doing that. Cool. We ain't doing that. How cool? We cool. We ain't doing that. But what happens in sparring stays in sparring. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I ain't got nothing else to do with it. I'm going to just leave it at that. But again, there's no way that 500 to 1,000 people only seen them spar 2 times when they spar multiple different times. And you're not about to tell me that the same thing happened every time. Because one person who ain't going to lie is Brian Norman Jr. Because he already told me what happened. Senior ain't going to lie to you either. The same thing Junior said was the same thing Norman said. And Junior wasn't even around. Cornflake said that, he held his own. Another coach told me he held his own, but he did feel one about sparring session how he felt about the sparring session the one day. Cool. It's sparring. I ain't got no problem with that. But it's funny how they saying this over here, but everybody else saying differently. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, but again, man, I'm not dropping no tape, no none. I'm not doing that shit. I had my questions. I asked my questions. I need for them Boost fans to answer my questions. That's it. Because it was a whole month went by. He knew he was going 154. I know for a fact May 22nd is when I got the text message about him going to 154. I know for a fact May 16th was when Eddie had said something about making the fight after the Japan fight, when he said he had to sign a contract before. That was May 16th. So from May 16th to June 16th, you dropped the video June 18th. So that means you knew for a month and 2 days you was going to 154. Why did you just drop the video if you knew it? That's all I'm saying. And he got hella good fighters up there. Hella good fighters. Haven Brady, Quadir, man, I ain't gonna lie. Haven Brady, Quadir, and what's the other kid? The one that just fought. The one that beat Keyshawn in the amateurs. Andy Cruz. Bozy got a fucking team up there. No, I ain't even talking about Tellez. I'm talking about Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz, Haven Brady, Quadir. Boy, they got a squad up there, man. I love Haven Brady, and I definitely like Quadir for sure. I like Quadir. I seen Quadir. I seen Quadir work down here. You know what I mean? Quadir and Nair Albright. Yeah, they cousins for sure. But Quadir the truth. Hey man, Quadir the truth. I seen before. I seen him spar down here before he even sparred Brian Norman Jr. Let me get to the chat real quick. It's too many fighters at 154 for them to continue with the boogeyman stuff, make the fights. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool too. But again, again, you say you didn't want to wait. So we should be hearing a fight announcement soon. I need that question answered too, Philly fans. I need that shit answered too. So there's a fight. There's a fight lined up for him at 154 already because he said he didn't want to wait around. Yeah, quite it. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what happened between him and Brian Norman Jr. Like I say, that shit just gym shit. You know what I'm saying? But I like quite it. And Boots calling Brian Norman at Clark. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Crazy, man. Now, y'all might well go ahead and share this to everybody. Cause I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm probably gonna stop talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause I see all these Philly motherfuckers getting their feelings, they fucking butt hurt. They don't want to press him for no real questions. They don't want to do that. Cause is he lying? Say no way this live. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, bet. I'm finna say, oh, what's your email, B? Text me your email, B. I know, B. Send me your email. I think I might have got it. Hold on. Ooh. He said, no way you live. It's 5 a.m. Damn. Let me see. Send me a yeah, B just text me. Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that what it was. Let me get to the email. Put it in there now, B. There you go. Yep. I just sent it, B. Yep, I just sent it. He said, Junior out here leaving motherfuckers comatose. Boots said Boots should have been in Japan training on to draw more attention to that fight if he wanted to smoke. Nah, I don't think so. Because at the same time, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna say that. Cause yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Nah, I don't think so. Nah, Norman ain't go to his fight. And want no need. Hold on. What's up, bro? Yeah, man. We got senior for the champion one time, man. You know. So I just got questions, man. That's all. That's it. I ask my questions and they respond. You know what I mean? Like I say, these guys got privy to the same information. That's all. They will be right there.
What's up, dog?
What's up with it?
Oh man, same shit, different day, man. I goddamn went to sleep. I'm still 13 hours ahead, so you know what I'm saying.
You up early, man.
I'm up early, man. Hell yeah, man. What's going on, dog?
So I was just telling I was just speaking my truth, and speaking on everything that has transpired between the two camps. I was also talking about how some of the media members that's from Philly have privy to the same information because you sent it to them, but they still choose to create their own narrative. But
Absolutely.
they'll call me capped up.
Right, absolutely. Nah, man. I was just talking to Jamil a little earlier tonight. You know what I'm saying? I said the same thing. Like, bro, y'all ain't. I said he told me, I'm gonna call. I'm neutral nigga. No, the fuck you are not. You paint a picture that wasn't there. You feel what I'm saying? You got these niggas still desperate talking about sparring that happened when B was 20 years old. And watch this. I gave them that, and that shit happened one fucking day.
Right.
After that day, that shit never happened again. I pressed it was Jamil. I pressed what's Greg. All of them niggas on Mill City. I said this was back before the niggas started lying about the dropping and all this and the quitting and all that shit. This before all of that. See, they kept getting worse and worse. It's even so bad. I was thinking about going back through my old Mill.
Right.
If I go back through my old Mill City interviews, the interview will be too long. If I go back through my old Mill City interviews, I will find it where them niggas say I asked specifically, did he hurt him? They said
Right.
no. Was he bloody? They said no. These niggas said that shit. Did he drop him? This was before Bowser came out with that bold-faced lie. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when Bowser came out with that, nigga, he took fire. And, oh, man, he dropped him. He was hurt. And I'm like, nigga, what? These niggas so lame, bro. It's retarded. But you know what? Bottom line, fuck all the old shit. B was 20 years old. And it was only one day. And two, the question is, how about now? I told Jamil to ask them. I said, why don't you do this thing? If you're across the board and you're a journalist, ask them niggas, is that the same Brian Norman they saw in the gym down there? That's what I told them. Then I asked him. I said, is that the same Brian Norman y'all saw in the gym down there ever? He was like, no. So what the fuck are y'all talking about? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
What are y'all talking about? Look, I asked him, did you play the clip of what Boo said where he was fine, right?
Yeah, I got the clip right here.
Okay, so I asked him, look, basic. Did Boo say that he wanted to fight Brian? Did Eddie say that Boost wanted to make a fight with B in October, November, December? Yes. Okay, is it October, November, December, or anywhere near it? No. So what the fuck are we talking about? So I tell you what, why y'all doing the bashing and all of this? Put the fight on, my nigga. Tell this nigga to put it in the ring. But then they'll switch it and say shit like they saying everything, but let's fight. No, motherfucker, I've been saying let's fight. They not saying let's fight. They don't want to fight. This shit is amazing, bro. You can listen. You can go through any old YSM video. Go through the comments. You gonna find me in there telling them, tell this nigga this before staying on this fight. This before all of. Tell this nigga to fight us next. Tell this nigga to fight us next. Then they'll say, he was trying to fight y'all nigga, but y'all went to Japan. No. In the press conference, they literally asked him. He said he was going on vacation. They was gonna figure out what they was gonna do.
Yep.
Eddie said they was coming back in September. You feel what I'm saying? We got an over $40 million pay over here. You feel what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm not gonna miss work because you sick. I'm not gonna miss work because you ain't got your car, nigga. Fuck I look like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This shit is wild, man. This is not even hard. And the easiest thing to say is, why are they not just telling the nigga, man, whoop this nigga ass and shit, this nigga beating on him senior. Bro, do you know how soft that made these niggas look? You ain't gotta say nothing else to him. Like, look, bro, why don't y'all go press that man? Because I even said that to him before the Jensen Saki fight and before the Stay On This fight. I said, why y'all doing all this talking? Go spam that nigga shit. Press that nigga, say, bro, beat this nigga ass. Beat his ass. We just trying to get him in the ring. That's it.
Right. That's it.
So you talking shit and throwing rocks, but we want to get the nigga in the ring? Come on, bro.
Man, that's all I'm saying. Like I said before, you know, I said what I said. But my whole thing was, if everybody's seen this first two spar sessions, well, what about the other part of the spar sessions?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I don't even. First of all, he was 20. That's first of all. So why the fuck we talking about sparring? He was 20. They wasn't giving him that same energy when it was about Tank. They said it was just sparring. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. Tank just came out and gave his pride.
And that's what I told people. I was like, bro, they sending it to me. I'm like, I mean, he already knew that. Tell y'all that everything, bro. This is what they hate. They so used to niggas on the internet and on Instagram faking and capping. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear when a nigga tell the truth. They don't want to know when a nigga comes out as telling the truth. They don't like that shit. Right. No, they want a nigga that lie. Look, watch this. I'm sure you probably said this today because we talked about this. Boost is one of two things. Either he's a liar or a pussy. You take your pick. You take your fucking pick. If he's a liar, you can't choose what to believe and what not to believe. If he's a pussy, then he's just a pussy. You make up your mind. He just said a month and a half ago, he made it easy. He just said even before that, he wanted to go undisputed. He just said even with the Virgil situation, he ain't looking for another unification bouts. You got an opportunity at this and that. And we give you, and we tell you publicly you had an opportunity at this and that. So he's one of two things, a liar or a pussy. Absolutely. All of this now, bro, like I heard you finna say at the end, yeah, it's time to dead the shit because it's clear what it is. They just don't want to know the truth. It ain't about what's true and what's not. They don't want it to be true. You get what I'm saying? It's like, you know, with Michael Jordan, LeBron James type shit. You feel what I'm saying? Mike is our man or whatever the case may be. Like, nigga, you ain't finna come in and tell me this new nigga better than my homeboy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing you got to say about that. But it's the same thing. But I mean, Mike is the man to me. But I'm just saying that's the mentality of what it is. They so used to the old. They're like, you ain't finna come in and tell me this new nigga. This nigga 24 years old. Show me a boost highlight that come in even close to be hot to be, you know what I'm saying? Shit. Show me what
Boost asked in chat. He ain't never had a knockout like that.
Never had a knockout like that. Left nigga on the stretcher. Nigga was still asleep. You feel what I'm saying? Show me where Boost took the wheel out of a nigga and brought him with Santia and broke that nigga. Show me where Boost even fought a nigga in his hometown. Show me where Boost fought a nigga that was not favored for Boots. And they talk about who he fighting. He fought a sushi chef. Okay, well, Boots had fought sushi chefs too, and he hit on them a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. And some more, and a whole bunch more. And that nigga didn't do no damage. The referee stopped it. The corner stopped it. This nigga ain't putting no motherfucking power together. They missing that, bro. This not hard.
Right.
Everything we've been saying and everything I've been saying is lining up. Everything Boo's saying, he don't even say a lot. Don't add up the shit. What does that tell you? This nigga don't even talk a lot, but when he do talk, that shit don't make sense.
It don't make sense. Just like when he was talking at the press conference, it don't make sense. That's why I was telling people, like, it would have been better if he said something, but because he don't say nothing, it make him look bad.
And then make what it does. That's why it takes so long. Even with the Virgil situation, it take him so. And then when he came back, the excuse was dumb as hell. It makes him. What he does is he needs excuses. So it's like he goes these long spells of time and he listens to what the narrative is and he try to paint it around the narrative. So the narrative now for him ducking from the time that Eddie posted that video about him moving up, everybody was calling him a duck, right? So he took a whole week, and the day before my fight, he came out and said something about it. So what he said was he was too big, and the doctor said, "Nigga, you just did a whole bunch of interviews, and in every other interview, you said you was fine. The only time you say anything about it's time to move up to 54 was after you look like shit in the second Karen fight. That's the only time he ever said it."
Exactly.
They give him all the fucking excuses, but when big normal shit add up to 1+1+1, when our shit add up, they don't want to hear that shit. He 24 years old, nigga. This nigga's damn near 30. Boo's damn near 30. Right. So why we look the fact that we comparing a 24-year-old to a fucking 30-year-old, you feel what I'm saying? And he who still never fought in enemy territory. He's never fought outside the country. He's never got a knockout like highlight like that on nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Right. They got they got the same amount of title defenses now, 24 and 30, and damn near 28 and 28. They got the same amount of title defenses now. What the fuck are we talking about, really?
You're right about that.
You feel me? They don't want to hear that. They hate the nigga. The truth be whooping they ass, nigga. When I was talking to Jamil today, bro, it was so crazy. He couldn't even answer questions directly. He couldn't answer that shit directly, and this nigga's supposed to be a journalist.
Not only that, he privy to all the information. You said it to him.
All the information he gonna tell me. Then he gonna tell me he know things that I don't know. I say, okay, well, I tell you what, I know things that you don't know, and I do know this. I do know this man was talking about when he was telling me about this. Is what he tried to tell me this tonight. He gonna try to tell me that Boost was planning on moving up back November the 9th last year. You know, before the Karen fight. That's what it was, right? That's why they offered Charles Conway. Okay, if that was the case, then why the fuck did he fight Virgil for all that money? You feel what I'm saying? Like, nigga, their shit is too inconsistent. But it takes the fans that just refuse to believe that the nigga that they've been praying on and the next Roy Jones and Jesus Christ is you know what I'm saying? It's just they refuse to believe it. They want to talk about, like I said, with the numbers. Giovanni Santillan, ranked number 1. In the WBO at the time, B took him out. Jen Sasaki, right, number 2 in the WBO at the time, B took him out. Currently, just as of last week, I look with today still. Currently, you got, this was the Ring Magazine ranking. Booster champ, Brian Norman number 1, Stoneonis number 2. We know he out of the loop. Barrios number 3, he fighting Pacquiao. Giovanni Santillan number 4, B already beat him. Gilsoft number 5. And Jen Sasaki number 6. So what they want him to do? It ain't nobody else. What they want to do? He's not be no elite fighters. Where the fuck the elite fighters at? What elite fighters they want him to be?
Right.
What we talking about? Boost ain't be no fucking elite fighter. What elite fighters that Boost is fighting? That's so motherfucking. You feel what I'm saying? What are we talking about?
I agree, man. I definitely agree. It's just crazy to me, man. And man, it's crazy you popped up too. It's crazy you popped up too. I had to look at the screen twice, but yeah, man, I've peen talking about this for the past hour and a half, man.
Yeah, I ain't, man. I've actually been up for about an hour and a half, but I was searching other shit. Then your shit came out and it said live. I said live. I clicked that shit, but I didn't hear nothing you said. Because as soon as I clicked it, I started texting. Nigga, I know damn well this ain't no lie.
Yeah, man, I'm on live, man.
So I don't even know what you was even talking about. I just clicked this. I know goddamn well, nigga, I know this can't be live. I know 5 o'clock in the morning.
This off my chest. I had to go and get this off my chest.
Yeah, man, look, they go. Yeah, Jamil said whatever we said, whatever, but that whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas, all them niggas capping line. If I had the time, if I had the energy to go back to the Mill City shit, and I just may do it if I get pissed off enough. Them niggas said it on live, and we was live. Them niggas said it on live interviews. This was way back. I said, did Boost ever hurt B Norm? Did you ever see it? They said no. Did you ever see blood? No. Did you ever see him hit the camera? This before Boost, like, no. You feel what I'm saying? I need to find that shit.
Yeah,
but I did so many with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like last year sometime.
Yeah, but them niggas said it. And then Boza came out with the fuck shit. And I'm like, nigga, now everybody's niggas. Look, the nigga JYD, who we seen one time in life, and we seen him one time in life. We sparred JYD and we sparred J-Rock that day. We didn't spar Boost that day. That's
Right.
the craziest thing. This nigga, I've seen him every time. It wasn't even close. He dropped him. And he did like, nigga, if you don't shut your gay ass up, nigga, come on, bro.
What's crazy about it, because what you call it, Coach Breadman Edwards, he told me about it, but he also said that B can hold his own. And then Cornflake, Thomas Lamana, you know, and he told the truth. You know, why they made a video saying that, you know, Boa Chica said he can't punch. I got the video on my channel when I interviewed Thomas Lamana, when Thomas Lamana said he can punch. I just played it for everybody.
Yeah, and look, and he was goddamn 20. Look, we ain't been to Philly since B was 22 years old. We ain't even been there. We haven't even been there since B was 22 years old.
I know.
And, not to mention, B hands got good. This is another misconception I even had to remind B. The timeline of B hands, he only had 2 good hands from Quentin Round on out. So Quentin Round, his hands was good. Boca Chica, his hands was good. And you see what happened with Santillan. He hurt his left again with the uppercut.
He had the surgery.
He had the surgery again, right? And so his hands just been good again since, you know, the last 3 fights. You feel what I'm saying? They was good. They was good for Santillan. Then he hurt it again. And like I said, it was good for Quentin Round. It was good for Boca Chica. It was good for Santillan. Then he hurt it again. He hurt it. He hurt the other one in Santillan fight. And then he had to have surgery. And he came back and did what he did to Cuevas. And then he just did what he did to Jen Sasaki. So you talking about a 20-year-old nigga with bad hands.
Come on, man.
A 20-year-old kid with bad hands. You know what I'm saying? But they still praising. Again, I love Abdullah Mason, but they still praise Abdullah Mason and get dropped by a dude that had a really fucked up Achilles heel. Yeah, y'all go back. I've been peeped all of that shit, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna throw no salt on Abdullah. You know what I'm saying? But the guy he got dropped with, if anybody if you want, you know, I ain't gotta do that. Don't even matter. Just they give some people the benefit of the doubt and they don't give others. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, you know me. I look at everything, bro. You know what it is. I always talk to you. You feel me?
Yeah,
I always drop a sauce so you hear it. That's why Tay be talking all that. He know what it is.
I know he know.
Yeah.
Man, let me go on and get her back to bed, man. She done woke up, man.
Okay, man. I'm gonna holler at you a bit out.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate Big B stepping in, chiming in one time. But y'all see the little one up. It's 6 a.m. here, so I'm gonna go ahead and log off. But I appreciate everybody coming through, and I'm out. Love, peace, happiness, and of course, like I always say, hello world.
Before the paper, I knew they would say, and I knew by the looks on their faces. Niggas mad cause I did what they wouldn't do, say what I couldn't do. Look, bitch, I made it. I made it. Came a long way from the basement. Body on me, I ain't playing, y'all. These niggas ain't playing fair. If I would've known better, I'd do better. Took some mess and I learned from a new level. Bought some new shovels and some new stressors. And I'm ready for war like whoever. They counted me out, I can't count it all. Cause little nigga, I ball. I put them points on the board every time that I shoot, I'ma score, and you know I'm a dog. I'm really appalled, don't need no applause. I know I'm a legend, my name on the wall. First record with platinum, my second with gold. Did it independent, no deal at all. And they said it's impossible. Got them high cause I did them without them though. I'm the same nigga slept on the carpet floor. Even back then I knew that I'd be poppin', so I really ain't trippin'. I swear I ain't trippin'. I got in my feelings and got me a million. Couple people I thought would be with me, but they not, so it's fuck all them niggas. And then you next.